Hello everyone, and welcome to One Man Stream. Today we're going to finally bring this mini-series to a close. This mini-series was entitled Control Your Entire Production in Just a Few Clicks, and today is going to be part 5, our 5th and final installment. And just as a quick reminder what we've been able to accomplish so far, in part 1 we just kind of did an overview and I showed you what each one of the tabs in the spreadsheet workbook was and how it functioned. In part 2 it was entitled Constructing the Worksheet, and we actually didn't construct the worksheet. I actually posted a link to the worksheet in the description of the tutorial that you could download, and then what we did is we opened up that worksheet and we went through all the parts and set up a bunch of the headings and gave you an idea of how to navigate the worksheet or the workbook set. In part 3, we created lists using data validation, and we utilized VLOOKUP. We defined what VLOOKUP is, and then we showed you several examples of how to use VLOOKUP to get the information that you want. In part 4, I showed you how to map 4 of the graphics. And then part 5 is today, it's the Gameday setup. So the first thing that we would do when we find out what two teams are playing, we're gonna go right down here to where it says Teams, and we're gonna click on the Teams tab. In the last tutorial, I showed you how to create a form to make data entry easier. So that's what we're gonna do right now. If you didn't watch that tutorial, I would suggest that you do that. It was a very quick and easy and straightforward tutorial, but it's gonna allow you to do what we're getting ready to do as far as adding team data. So I'm going to click on the form and it brings this in, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on criteria and I'm going to look for Spencer County and click enter, and it brings me right here to Spencer County, and the first line is team name in all caps, so I'm going to type in Spencer County. The next thing is team name and mascot, again in all caps. And they are the Spencer County Bears. Team name short, we're just going to put up here Spencer. And then mascot is Bears. Mascot image we'll have to do from the drop-down list. The head coach's name, we're just going to call him Coach Bear. And then this is pulled into the data sources spreadsheet. So we're just going to type this in as well, and then we're going to click enter, and you can see where it brought in all that information for Spencer County. Well, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to select the mascot. So let's sift through our list here, and we should have one. We'll type in blue, B-L-U-E, and we'll go with this blue right here, and you can see where it brought in the hexadecimal color associated with that. And then we're going to scoot over a little bit further. You can see where it brought in Coach Bear, and then you can see where it brought in Head Coach Bear. You can see where all that information was brought in. So now we're going to go back up here to Form, and this time we're going to choose Simon Kenton and click Enter, and it brings in Simon Kenton. So we're going to type in team name, all caps, team name plus mascot, short name. We're just going to call them Simon. Mascot name, Pioneers. Mascot image, we'll bring that in later. Coach Pioneer. And then right here, Head Coach Pioneer. Then we'll click enter, and you can see where that information is brought in. So now let's go ahead and select the mascot. See what we have. Here we go, Simon Kenton. Let's click on that. They're also that same blue color. So we're just going to type in here blue. Select it, and you can see where it brings in the hexadecimal color for blue. Let's scan over a little bit further, and you can see where I brought in that other information, coach's name, Coach Pioneer, and then the other portion that we're going to be using where it says Head Coach Pioneer. So now what we can do is we can go to the main production, and up here where it said Ballard as the home team, let's go ahead and put in Simon Kenton and then Spencer County. And you can see where it brought in those two teams. It brought in Simon Kenton. You can see where it brought in the scoreboard abbreviation is Simon, then Simon Kenton Pioneers, and you can see the rest of the information. Brings in the color, then it brings in its hexadecimal coordinate to put as the background color for the scoreboard. And let's go ahead and go over a little bit, and you can see where the information is in there for the Spencer County Bears. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to choose the game format. Well, for this particular game, we're just going to call this the one-man stream tournament kind of thing. So we're going to select one-man stream demo, and you'll see right here where it says one-man stream. If we go over here under scoreboard names, You can see this is where it's coming from, one-man stream demo. And then these are the sponsors we have for the different portions of the production. This one here is a ticker sponsor, most outstanding player sponsor, weather sponsor, starting lineup sponsor, in-game scoreboard, and you can see the rest of them. So we'll go ahead and select that. Let's go back to the main production now. We're going to choose our play-by-play analyst, and we're going to choose Joe Smith. And our color analyst is going to be ex-athlete number 1. So our home team record, these two teams are both juggernauts, 25-0 for the home team and 25-1 for the visiting team. Where it says field court name, this is actually going to be played at Anderson County. So we're going to type in Anderson County High School. That's where the game is being played. So the next thing that we would have to do is we would have to go to the home and visiting team, and we would have to put in the lineups. Well, I've showed you how to do this before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the KHSAA website. And if you followed this series, you've seen me do this before. And I'm going to go over here to where it says select school. And I'm going to scroll down to Simon Kenton. And then I'm going to click here where it says roster. And I'm going to select the first player and scroll over here. And then I'm going to right click and copy. And then I'm going to come back over here to this spreadsheet where it says home team. And I'm going to click up here in 3. And then I'm going to click down here. And I'm going to right click and select clear contents. And then I'm also going to get rid of all the borders that may have come when we selected that last team or brought the last team in. So I'm going to click on no borders. And then I'm also going to get rid of any fill colors that may have come. So now what I'm going to do is I copied this information. I'm going to bring it over here and I'm going to paste it. And I'm going to start at number 3 here and paste. And then it brings it in this format. And you've seen me do this before. I'm going to click on the number 30 and then click on freshman here next to this player. I'm going to copy this. And then I'm going to bring it over here and paste. And then let's go back and get rid of this right quadrant here. So we're going to do the same thing, clear contents, going to get rid of the borders, and I'm going to get rid of any fill color. Now, you know when we use VLOOKUP, this is our item that we're looking for, this is our search term, so then it's going to look over here, it's going to go left to right. Well, since the number is on the right side of the search term, we have to bring these numbers and put them on the other side. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do that now. So let's copy them all. Bring them over here and click paste. And now we've got everything in the correct format. So our starters are going to be these first 5 players. So we're going to click the drop down menu and we're going to select Jordan Bach. We are going to select Braylon Bilton. We're going to select Jay Bilton, Miles Brown, and Grayson Harris. And you can see when we brought these names in, it went ahead and changed the information up here. And this is the information that we are pulling into the graphic. So that information is going to change as well. And we would do the exact same thing for the visiting team. So we've almost got everything up and running. We're almost ready to go. So let's go ahead and we're going to go back to our vMix production and we're going to bring in some of these graphics. So let's go ahead and bring in this graphic right here. You can see where it brought in the name of the scoreboard format that we're using, one-man stream demo. You can see where it brought in Spencer County and their logo. You can see where it brought in Simon Kenton and their logo. And then you can also see where it brought in the scoreboard logo as well. So we'll go ahead and get rid of this one and we'll bring in this graphic. So you can see where it brought in the one-man stream demo as the top text for this graphic. You can see Spencer County here. You can see Simon Kenton here. You can see the name of the 2 schools along with the venue where this event is taking place. We put in Anderson County High School and that's where that's reflected. So let's go ahead and bring in the starting lineup graphic. So let's go ahead and set that in motion. You can see where the home team was Simon Kenton, and you can see Simon Kenton on the left-hand side and Pioneers on the right-hand side. You can see the Simon Kenton logo here, and then you can see the starting lineup that was brought in. And all that information is being populated from this spreadsheet workbook that we have here. So the last thing we're going to look at is this data source for overlays. And I have done nothing. I haven't touched this at all. But you can see all this information is brought in from what we've already included in the worksheet already. I've mentioned this before, in this tan area, these are actually things that we're going to have to put physically put in here. I already have our keys to the game, so I have those already put in there. I'm just going to copy and paste some information in here. So let's see, is this Simon Kenton? Yeah, and I'm going to copy this. I'm going to bring it over here. Double click in here and click paste. And then I want to bring it down a little bit so it'll be centered in my graphic. This next little piece, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to copy this as well. I'm going to bring this over here. Again, double click in here and paste. And then we're going to bring it down, center it in the graphic. Then we're going to bring in a little bit of information about the team. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this from my sheet, bring it over here and paste it and center it. And then I would have some information about key players. So we'll say guard number 1, John Schott, 22 points per game, 13 rebounds per game. And then say selected to all region team. And then we'll center that as well. So that's just some dummy information that I put in here just so you can see how the graphics can work. So let's go ahead and save all of this. And then we're going to, well, before I bring in the graphic, I want to show you, here is the Data Source Manager. And if you look at the Data Source Manager, the tab that I have selected is Data Source for Overlays. And that was the sheet that we were just working on. And this is all the information that's brought in from that spreadsheet that we've been working in being brought into vMix. So this is the information that we're actually going to be utilizing. So to start off with, we're going to start off at line 7, and that's going to be the beginning of the home team package. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the graphic, and I'm going to bring it in on overlay channel 1. And that first bit of information that we copy and pasted in where it said Simon Kenton Pioneers, it's showing right there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to click on row 8. And you can see where that information changes. It brings in the head coach. That stays the same, coach Pioneer, head coach of the Pioneers, and then it brings in this next bit of information. Let's click line 9, and you can see where this information changed to Simon Kenton Pioneers, and then it says Pioneers versus current statewide top 50. Their RPI is 4 and 8. So let's go to the next line, which is one of our key players, where it says Simon Kenton Pioneers, and I just noticed I had a misspelling there. It says key players, guard number 1, John Shoot, and there's the information for John Shoot. So let's go ahead, and what I do is I take this graphic out, and then now we would go to some commercials, and when we come back from the commercials, we're going to have keys to the game. So we're coming back from our commercial spot. I'm going to bring the graphic back in once more, and this has Simon Kenton's keys to the game on here. And then if I click on the next line below it, line 16, you'll see where it brings in Spencer County Bears keys to the game. You can see that this can be a huge time saver during the course of the season because, it takes a little bit of time to set this up, but if you've been following along with the tutorial, you already have all this information set up and you're ready to go. All you need to do now is put the information in for the teams that are going to be playing, and then select those teams from the main production menu. Select those 2 names, fill out the information in this first column here, and then you're ready to go. All the rest of that information will be included in all of your graphics once you go back and you map your graphic. That's going to conclude this tutorial series where we've gone down this long journey of how to change your production with just a few clicks. I hope you've enjoyed this mini series, and if you have, please give me a thumbs up and a like. Make sure that you do subscribe so that you'll be alerted as soon as new videos are posted. And if you get a moment, please stop by our website. That's onemanstream.com. That's where we have the graphics we've created during this tutorial series, along with many of the vMix UTC controllers as well. I appreciate you taking the time to watch these tutorials, and as always, Thank you so much.